Hey, everybody, welcome back yet again for a Buckeye breakdown with Zach Boren. It is time to get into the Silver Bullets and the latest performance, which was a 44-31 win for Ohio State at Penn State. Pretty significant for a lot of reasons. Ohio State moves to 8-0. They are heading into November unbeaten. Uh, any win at Penn State is significant, as Zach Boren can attest. So maybe not the finest collective performance by the Silver Bullets, Zach, but individually, there were a lot of moments of brilliance that we're probably going to have to break down extensively in this episode.
There were some big time players that absolutely balled out in this game, and you said it. Winning at Penn State is tough. Facing adversity in the fourth quarter is a great thing. This team hadn't faced any adversity all year, besides really the Notre Dame game where they were losing at halftime, then come out in the third quarter and kind of started dominating that game. Taking a deficit into the fourth quarter, especially on the defensive side, knowing, hey, we got to go out and make some stops. We know we got to get the ball back to the offense. There's a confidence builder about that. And going into November when championships are won, you need that confidence as defense. You don't want the first time, kind of having that feeling November 26th against Michigan. You wanted to feel that, and having it on the road in Happy Valley against Penn State. I know Buckeye Nation isn't thrilled about it. I know maybe some of the coaching staff isn't thrilled about everything, but as a team in the locker room, as we see, the videos after the locker room, and as a unit, it's the best thing for those guys.
Yeah, I wonder, that was more of one of those talent equated games. I don't think we should dismiss that. Both you and I, said on Thursday we thought Ohio State would win comfortably. They didn't quite get to that point the way we thought they did, except for the fourth quarter where it was definitely a lopsided matchup. One thing that we talked about, though, with Jim Knowles early on in the year was that there may be elements of his approach and his scheme where it's really, really aggressive. And that might mean one or two big plays down the field. And then the trade-off is that you create a handful of turnovers. Now, I don't think also that we envisioned they would come from the defensive ends, but that was sort of maybe more what I envisioned. Not 31 points necessarily, but a couple big plays are given up, and in return, you make some turnovers.
Yeah, you knew Jim Knowles was going to take some chances. We knew that all year, and finally he gets into a tight game, and what's he do in the second half? Instead of sitting back, guess what? He's still coming after him, and I think that's just Jim Knowles' MO, and I love that as defense coordinator. It doesn't matter, if you're losing and if Penn State goes down, they go up 2 scores. We're still being aggressive. We're being who we are. The big things that you saw, and I think that they need to get better at, is you finally saw the missed tackles, which Penn State went for a long touchdown on their very first touchdown of the game when I believe maybe J.K. Johnson and Tanner McAllister didn't make a tackle. And you also saw when you brought pressure with a quarterback who's able to use his legs, which, they were, it's how do those plays transpire with getting the ball down the field? And how many times did we see Penn State, get out of the pocket, and then next throw a ball down the field and you have a tight end that's open. You have a wide receiver that's open. And playing against J.J. McCarthy in Michigan, he has those legs. And so those are two things with the missed tackles and then making sure when we are aggressive that we're in our rush lanes and they can't break the pocket. Those are two things that are going to be huge learning points for this defense.
Okay, so it was about 3 weeks ago. We decided, hey, let's take a look at JT Tuimoloau and the impact he's making. It's not showing up in the stat sheet. Now, normally we don't double back. We try to do as many players as we can throughout the course of a season, bring some different looks every week. But if you make history and stuff the stat sheet, and we've previously said that you weren't doing that, but you were good, well, we got to come back. A history-making performance, sort of like Chase Young in 2019 against Wisconsin, a Bosa. We didn't do BuckIQ back in those days, but we certainly did for Chase Young. JT Tuimoloau put himself in that category on Saturday.
He did. He absolutely balled out. And yes, we try and give the love, but after a game like you absolutely dominate the game, you have to highlight him. And oh my God, JT was unbelievable. I'm watching the game and I call it, and I'm like, watch, they're gonna get a pick six right here and put this game away. Next, very first play, JT pick six. My jaw open. So JT, hell of performance. You deserve a second breakdown in 3 weeks.
Yep. So let's get to it because there were a lot of plays for Zach to break down. The JT Tuimoloau wow game, as I'm calling it forever now. Yeah, I've been around Berm too much. Bad puns. But anyway, we're going to do it anyway. Let's roll the tape. All right, Zach, talk about the defense trying to set the tone with turnovers early on, and then a hint of what was to come for JT Tuimoloau. A 3rd and 9 situation. Match the hands, I believe Larry Johnson likes to call it.
Oh my God, this is a start of just an all-out performance. You're going to see this play after play that we go through right now. But look at the down, 3rd and 9. Hey, almost 50-yard line. Penn State, what are they going to do here? They're known to go to the screen, especially to that wide receiver screen that we've seen over the years. JT realizes it quickly, knows, hey, listen, it's quick. Offensive tackle goes inside of me, isn't even attempting to block me. I need to get my hands up right away. Gets his hands up. He is a big dude. People don't realize how big JT is when he gets his hands up in the air, bats the ball, and man, Zach Harrison, what an athletic play getting an interception right here. Those two guys have been playing exceptionally well.
Yeah, great awareness there by Zach Harrison. I don't think that should be diminished as part of that play either. Tipping it to himself, he was engaged with a blocker. Great work by Zach Harrison as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is an athletic play, hard to do. You're engaged in a block, you tip the ball to yourself, make the interception. In my mind, this should have been almost putting the game away quickly, especially after this next play. You set up our offense, on the 40-yard line, on the road, after the first drive. Man, you think that sets the team up for success, but the defense had to continue making plays throughout the day.
All right, I felt like on Saturday, and I didn't, I've seen defensive ends jump up and bat balls. I've seen them jump up and make pick sixes that look like tight end plays. I don't really ever remember seeing a play like this from a defensive end in coverage.
No, I haven't either. 3rd and 3 right here. JTT drops back, literally reading the quarterback's eyes. He's playing like Tommy Eichenberg and Steel Chambers right here. They better get worried about their positions because JTT playing as good and athletic as can be, but sitting right here, taking away the running backs inside, knowing where to leverage the running back, sitting here reading the quarterback's eyes, and then making this interception. I don't think people realize how tough of a catch this was. He breaks on the ball, goes down low, fingertips his catch, and gets an interception. I mean, this is an unbelievable play.
It's hard enough for cornerbacks to break on routes like this. And then you've got a defensive end on a running back. It was so incredible. And then to finish it with the catch, like you said.
It's unbelievable. And people, I talked about his leverage. This is a defensive end. He's not used to covering guys in space. He sits on the running back's inside shoulder, which is exactly what you do. If he's sitting on the outside shoulder, he can't make this play. Instead, he sits on his inside shoulder, knows exactly what to do, reads the quarterback's eyes right here. He's literally sitting at the yardage marker, too. He dropped in the coverage and knew exactly where the sticks were. I mean, this is a veteran linebacker play, and he's keeping everything in front of him. Instead, sees it, breaks on it, makes the INT here. Unbelievable.
Yeah, so 2 plays in the first quarter alone that lead to turnovers for Ohio State. He was not even close to done, Zach, and boy, this was a sight to behold just watching him work off the edge.
It is. And look, if you pause this right here, look at this. 16-14, Ohio State just took the lead. 2nd and 7, 4th quarter. And guess what? Defense, we need to make a play. We need to get off the field, get our offense the ball again. Look at this. Comes right off the edge. He's probably thinking at this point, really tight end coming across the formation, trying to block me right here. Makes an unbelievable play. Dips his shoulder. Look at him dipping his shoulder right there. Gets inside, gets underneath the tight end. I mean, when you dip your shoulder, why guys do this and why we talk about it, you don't give the offensive lineman or tight end or pass blocker in this situation, whatever it might be, anywhere to put his hands. They want a target to be able to put their hands to hold up. Instead, the tight end, when you get skinny like that, his aiming point is so much smaller, and you see him try to get his hands on JTT, and he just can't because the aiming point is so small. He's got his left hand on his back, and there's nothing he can do. JTT makes the tackle right here for a massive sack.
Yeah, I am not a football coach, so I'll defer to James Franklin and Mike Yursich's $1 million salaries, but it doesn't seem like putting a tight end on JT Tuimoloau was the smartest decision in the world, or leaving him one-on-one. But what do I know? I don't coach Penn State.
It was just dumb. At the time, they thought they'd call a cute play, just doesn't work out. This one, too, you saw JTT all game long going at this offense tackle. And, what's he going to do? Is he going to get me with power? Is he going to get me with speed? He had shown speed throughout the day. Here, look, he shows speed, goes to a bull rush, and this dude has just got no chance whatsoever. You see how strong and long and from JT's standpoint, how well he plays with leverage. He's got his right arm right underneath his shoulder pad right now, and he's got a full-on lockout. This offensive tackle is so off balance that he has to turn his back. I mean, this is an unbelievable play. He's going to get to the quarterback. And so many times this year we saw him not be able to get to the quarterback, right? We just outlined it 2 or 3 weeks ago that he's absolutely dominating the offensive lineman, but he's just a second too short. Instead, he gets there, gets the strip sack and the fumble recovery. Massive play.
Yeah, that was quite the spin cycle that he put the right tackle into there. And then this turns out more of that awareness from the defensive ends. We saw that from Zach Harrison early on. Ball bouncing around, JT turns around, scoops it right up. Just he was around it all day. It's crazy. Sometimes that happens, I guess. You get some momentum or the hot hand, but you rarely ever see it to this extent.
100%. There's an athletic ability about it, right? Being able to find the football, locate it, get on it, do those little things, find the football in the air, break on a football. Like there's an athletic aspect to that I don't think people realize that how tough it is, especially, when you got the offense tackle in a spin cycle, like you said, you get a straight back, you've got no idea where the ball went, and then you have to locate it and jump on it. Great play. And then this, my goodness, man, just unbelievable. All these plays that we just went over literally is going to be his highlight tape for the NFL draft come to 2024, right? I mean, they are going to be playing these plays nonstop, and people are going to be like, wow, that's an unbelievable highlight tape. And people are going to then say, wow, that was in one game. All of this happened in one game. And JTT right here, again, man, it goes back. It's the very first play that we went over, right? They're trying to go to this little wide receiver screen that we've seen. This time, instead of the offense tackle just avoiding him and getting out into space, they're like, hey, listen, JT can't get his hands up. We need to chop him, get his hands down, and then we can throw this and get through. Well, guess what? Hey, JTT is going to stiff arm this dude, push him down to the ground, and be able to jump up and make the interception right here. This is best play of the day. By far, best play of the day. Gets the offense tackle down, gets off the chop block, jumps up in the air, no one realized how hard of a catch this is, too, with a guy throwing a fastball at you from about 10 feet, right? Make play, gets into the end zone. JTT, man, God, unbelievable game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to put it into context of like doing anything that a normal human would do, like tie your shoes and then have somebody throw a tennis ball at your head. Like,
very similar. That's why I don't think people realize how hard this is, especially you have to react. Like, he didn't know this play was coming. You have to be able to react while this is going on at full speed, and it's milliseconds on how quickly you have to realize what is going on. So we realized, hey, offense tackle's trying to chop me. It's kind of that same play they ran earlier. Guess what? Instead of chopping me, I'm going to push his head down. They teach it. You've seen it at practice. They punch down on the bags all the time. You punch on the back of the player's shoulder pads when he's going down, or the back of his helmet. You get him down, you create space off of him, and then guess what? You keep your head up while you're doing it, because if your head's down, you got no idea what's going on in front of you. So you keep your head up. He realizes that what's going on, is able to jump up, and there you go. That's why JTT wanted to play basketball so much. And the Ohio State Buckeyes tweeted about him afterwards, because they see plays like that. Oh, man, what kind of alley-oops could we throw to him in the Schottenstein Center?
Yeah, so our consensus from the previous BuckIQ for JT Tuimoloau was, yeah, we think he's good. Hey, I guess we were right, Zach.
We were right. We have the tendency to do that sometimes. We were talking about it with Eichenberg last year. Tommy Eichenberg again, 15 tackles on Saturday. Not to cut him, not to cut him short by any means, but JTT, man, been talking about it all year and how well he's been playing, and finally he gets there. It's just kind of, I equate it. You're a golfer, and for other people who are golfers, it's kind of like you go out to the first hole, right? You get on the green and you've got a par putt from 10 feet, and guess what? It goes in the hole, and you see it go in the hole. And that's what you kind of saw JTT early on, made the play, and finally is like, man, I got there. Then throughout that golf round, guess what? That hole looks a little bit bigger, and that putter gets hot. JTT, man, he gained that confidence, and it just started getting hot. And the next thing you know, man, he's just finding the football and just making plays left and right. I hate to compare JTT to golf, but for any normal person who's not strapping on the pads every Saturday and instead is going on a golf course, they'll understand that similarity.
Yeah, perfect to put it into context for me. All I know is we didn't have to maybe go on the sturdiest, have to go out on a flimsy limb with JT Tuimoloau, one of the highest rated recruits Ohio State has landed in a long time, but he is certainly coming along with the development just like the Buckeyes envisioned, and he got himself another BuckIQ this season with Zach Boren. Buckeyes back at it on Saturday at noon. We will be talking about Ohio State and Northwestern at this time next week with the great Zach Boren. For Zach, I'm Austin. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.